So welcome to the Node.js Node add-on API team meeting for not September, April 12th, 2024. We'll follow our standard approach of looking at things which were tagged for the milestone 11 agenda. So let me share that. I think this is the right one, hopefully. And I'll go to issues. Okay, so just going through the list. The first one, I think unless somebody's looked at it recently, there aren't any real updates since last week. I know that based on the conversation, Gabriel had commented, pointed out that it looked like the module being affected did have experimental turned on. So it was kind of like, yeah, aligned with what we understood, which is like we hadn't broken non-experimental cases. But if you were experimental, there would be a need to fix something up. Interesting, like there's a few issues we can see that like have mentioned this. So, I know um when we discussed it back, like, hey, how breaking is this? Okay, what's the impact going to be to experimental? We didn't really have any data. We figured like, yeah, it's okay, but it'll be interesting to see like how many of these kind of issues come by in terms of mentions, because it gives us a feeling of like, well, how many people were affected and did they just update and it was fine or whatever. So it's kind of interesting. But I don't think there's anything more to discuss this week unless anybody else has something. Okay, if not, go back to what's new in the Node and API world. Does anybody have any news or anything they'd like to share?
Was there a conference recently or recently happened or something? Summit, something,
There was a
London?
collaborator summit last week in London.
I see.
Yeah, but we didn't discuss about Node API in particular in the summit because, yeah,
Yeah, we didn't
Okay,
have enough people there to propose a session. So
I
yeah.
see. Are there any conferences or summits coming up that we may have interest in joining or partaking? I don't really know how any of that works, really. The last one that I did, it was sort of kind of set up, and the team was like, "Hey, Kevin, you want to do it?" And I'm like, "Sure," but I don't really know how that started.
yeah, we've done like some overviews of Node add-on API at like that. Maybe that's what you're referring to. Unfortunately, this year there's no main conference like that OpenJS is running. Last year there was a couple co-located ones with Open Source Summit. I think the sort of project's feeling was not enough overlap with other conference attendees. Like at the larger conference, we really hope to pull in people who were outside of our bubble. Um,
Right.
and there wasn't enough like there was lots of people at the conferences, but they didn't really have an interest in Node or JavaScript. So we didn't get that
I
pulling in of other
see.
people.
Okay.
So this year we chose not to do that. And I think this is a figuring out year, because from what I understand, there's no real plan right now in terms of what do we do instead. So like there's no conference that the OpenJS Foundation is gonna fund or drive or um the next summit is being talked about. I think there's this one was originally proposed for London because it aligned with CityJS London. There's a CityJS um and I should remember the name, but it's in South America. Colombia. So CityJS Colombia. So I think some people are proposing that the next collaborator summit would be there. That's a little bit different. It's not a conference necessarily. I think a bunch of us are still hoping that there's a Node Conf. So that's
Okay.
one where we could like, maybe propose a workshop or a talk or whatever. So I think I did last year. Last year I actually did one there, which was like coding add-ons like it's 2024 based on the work that we did. So that's a place. Otherwise, like, I think it's good to get it out, but there's no specific one that would be like top of my mind or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
but if you find a good JS conference, and like I think the more we get out and talk about things and make connections, it's good.
All right. Sounds good.
Um, anything else on the what's new front or? Okay, helping with SQL Lite 3 performance. I know Gabriel mentioned last time he had a PR. I don't think there's necessarily anything new on that. Like with Node CI problems, so fun.
Yeah, I remember looking at it. The failure, it's saying that the Node engine is not supported, but it is. So that's why Gabe asked what's happening, but
Okay.
still.
Node 18, is it? Like, is it the engine or UBI 8? No, was it UBI 18? No, I mean Ubuntu 18.
No, it's the package JSON saying that
Okay.
the node version, I
Okay.
can't remember, but I remember looking at it and it should be supported, so I don't know
Okay.
what was going on there. Mhm.
Okay. The drive towards full coverage. Anything new to discuss on that front this week?
Nope.
No. Okay. Um, I think that's a good one. Do we is there somewhere like I know we'll get a coverage report on PRs, which is good. Do we get like is there a coverage report that we get just on main at some regular interval or
Yeah, anytime, because the workflow is scheduled to run on pushes too. So when you make the push to main because of the PR merge, then it would run. If you go to the coverage Linux action on the left, you should see there's
right?
one that's
Although it
run
doesn't
on main
run
there.
on these, right? Does it?
Well, this is, yeah, this should have a coverage. And then if you go
Okay.
down to upload that
Okay.
action there,
Okay. So
uh,
if I go here, no, I
I don't
want to
think that was
go.
it.
No,
I think it, yeah, it's at the bottom of this. That
here.
one.
Okay. If I just go here, do I get the current report? Where I'm thinking is like, this is a good thing to say, like, hey, here's our coverage. A good way to get involved is to try and like find some gaps in the coverage and help to close those coverage gaps, right? And so for that, it's nice to have a here's like where do I find that maybe I can
Yeah, I think you're not seeing anything because you're not logged in. Since it uses the GitHub APIs, I
okay.
think you may have to be logged in, but yeah.
Why is okay, so I have to actually log into Code Cup.
Right, because it uses, in order to find the source files and everything, it
Okay,
calls the GitHub APIs.
okay.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Let's see. Okay, well, it seems to have done the right. So
Yeah, like it's showing the results of the coverage, but it's not like if you go to File Explorer, something
okay,
is really weird. Maybe they're having some issues. But there's this files list. Yeah, I remember seeing that you'd have to be logged in order to
okay. Well, let's
see
see.
it.
Okay,
Or maybe not. Maybe they're just having some issues. Main, okay. Yeah, there we go.
so there I can go. Okay, so
So yeah, this URL here will always point to the latest coverage for
right.
me.
Okay, so we can. Yeah. No.
There's probably some way, I don't know, but you've seen like on GitHub READMEs where they have the little, I think they're called badges, the little
Right,
image
yeah,
icon.
yeah.
Maybe we could add that to our README.
I think that would be cool. Like, so yeah, you just go to the README, click on the link here, and now you get the coverage report.
Right,
I
okay.
suspect we might do that for the Note project because yeah, that would be like just in terms of like, hey, here's a place you can get involved. And although when I'm looking at this, so this is maybe it's really this one doesn't have a lot of lines, so this would be the one to look at, right?
I think the coverage link can be added to the contributing section of our README page.
It's a good idea too, yeah.
Because yeah, that's just one of the I think it worked fairly well in the Node project to like say, hey, here's our code coverage. Good way to get involved is to like submit tests, and like that helped really close the gaps. I do know we have a few like it sounds like a lot of them, a lot of the coverage gaps are sort of the hey, the error cases, right? And we were going to think about how to fix that. So I don't know if we're ready quite to put out the call, but I was just seeing if we could easily get to the coverage when we want to do that.
Yeah, I can take a look at that.
Okay, sounds good. Um, stale issues. I don't think there's any new stale issues, so I don't think we have anything to really chat about on that front. Debug testing, haven't done anything, so nothing to chat about. So I think that takes us to the issues in the repo. So let's look. Okay, there's just this one, which I believe is still waiting for changes to percolate through. I see, Kevin, that you helped work out that issue related to initialization with Clang and so that was good. Good work.
Yes, yeah. Basically, it was an issue in the Clang compiler with the Microsoft CL toolset when using CMake.js. In order to support Electron, they use this delay library loading methods or whatever. And it appears that the LLVM implementation in Clang introduces this bug. So that took some some time to figure out, but yeah. So it was not an issue with Node API or the add-on API. It's an issue with the compiler.
Yeah, it's interesting reading through the back and forth and what you figured out. So yeah, pretty cool. But I don't see any other new issues here. Any other ones we should chat about?
Can you go to the first one again?
Sure.
I'm wondering if we should close this one. It's because it's been a month that I asked. Maybe we should, I don't know how we want
I
to.
think that's reasonable
Yeah.
to say like we could say we're closing this because there's been no answer, but please reopen if that wasn't the right thing to do.
Right. Okay.
So you want to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect. Any other ones we should chat about? Okay, if not, I'm going to flip over to Node and find. So this one is fairly recent. I took a quick look and I see it was like approved by both Gabriel and
Well, yeah,
Zon.
because there is a edge case that we didn't cover in our previous test when we were fixing the V8 issues. So basically, I believe this podcast have added that coverage and ensure we will not be ensure that we always copy the type tag values by values. Yeah.
And I would assume this is Semver patch, like
Um, it should follow previous. It should follow the link file 1149. Yeah.
Okay.
Have we tagged it as some major? I don't think so because
Yeah.
it is not bound to the Viet version.
Right. Like it doesn't break any external, like it doesn't change any external behavior other than fixing the problem, right? Like it's not
Yeah, because it's fixing a problem on newer Viet version, but the fix can apply to previous Viet version as well.
right. Okay. So basically yeah, this doesn't mean you can't, once you have this, you can't go backwards or forwards. It's usually like it doesn't break you, so it's not semper major. And if it means you can't go backwards, then it would be semper minor, maybe.
Um, yeah, it's not a big change, and
Right.
this is a bug fix. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that looks good. Just a matter of getting it through. I think I don't know who restarted the CI this morning, but like it's just a matter of getting it through the CI and we can get it
Yeah, I
landed.
just labeled it to request there, but I think we should dig into the CI failure to see if it's relevant.
I looked at them and like the ones for the OS X ARM ones, I found both of those. I found flaky issues. So
Yeah.
I don't think so. And the other Windows one didn't look related as at all either. So I think it's like I think it's still running. So once it's finished, it'll be a matter of resuming, or maybe we can resume now. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, I did look at that. So yeah, we'll get the CI through the CI. That's a good.
Yeah, that's the issue for the
The
PR.
issue. This one we already talked about, and then pretty much all the other ones are older. Any ones we should chat about in particular?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still working with lib node, still a work in progress.
Okay.
Nothing to review yet.
Just in
Go
general,
ahead.
what can we do about all of these other really old issues, like the ones at the bottom from 2018 or 20,
This
like,
one I think actually is related to the work that Vladimir's working on.
right. That just happens to be a good
So yeah,
example.
I know. So needed shared API. So like this one, is this marked as like a feature request?
Yeah, I think we should add those to our stale issues and keep checking it.
Create external variable. Okay.
So this one, like it feature requests, there is like something that will close them out after a certain amount of time, but obviously this had a recent comment.
Hmm.
So it wouldn't get closed based on that. So ones like this, I guess the question
Oh.
is like, do we still think it's relevant?
Well, I think I need to recover the idea. I
Right,
just
yeah, okay, think about
forget
it.
about it.
Yeah, these are,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Hmm.
So, but basically that's we should,
We should
it's
triage all of these then. Okay.
like this one actually, I think I'm like, it's 4 years old. There was no question, there was no comment. I'm gonna say, like, let's closing this since there has not been a response for a few years, please. No, that. Because I think like this one, I think,
Yeah.
looking at it and saying, well, there was a few comments, but then it's like, have you tried recent one? And so like 2 years, who knows? And
Yeah.
so I'll close that one. This one,
That was just the one.
that's the one. Sorry, that's the
Yeah.
one I just closed. Okay.
Oh, I believe I have been touching the transferable and the clonable objects API in the core, and I can see if I'll check if I can come up with a resolution in Node.
Okay. I think this is a feature request, right?
Yeah, feature requests,
Mhm.
because basically we
Mhm.
haven't been exposing the transfer or clone methods in JavaScript even.
Okay.
So basically there is no method in JavaScript and the native. So we should be considered outside Node API as well.
Okay. So this one, I guess there is an issue, but we never recreated it. Okay. Well, like that would be that one. I think we'd have to take a closer look at to
Right.
see like,
I think this is relevant to our Node.js efforts.
right.
Mhm.
Should we close it as a result of that PR?
Um,
I think this because okay. Okay, so we document, okay, I'm gonna close this since we documented, right?
Mhm.
the documentation only mentioned that the callback is not code in a title loop, right? So we better need to mention Node.js efforts as well.
Okay, so you think there's still more documentation updates we should do?
I mean, link to the Node.js, I mean, the new APIs. Maybe, let's see if I can get the new
Okay,
link. Posted the link in the chat. So it
okay,
might be worthwhile to mention the new Node.js finalized callback.
okay, so we just, so basically here it would be this. So what should I say, that it helps on this front, or which
Yeah, helps this problem.
helps with? Would we say like, so do we still need this issue open, or is it like, hey, here's something that helps resolve it and really it's closed since
I
we've
think it will
documented?
need verification from the Rust implementation, right?
Okay,
Because yeah. So and since the Node.js finalized is still experimental, so it will be better if we can get feedback from them as well before we mark the Node.js
okay.
as as stable. Yeah.
The
Does that make
spelling machine
sense?
will call back up, Michael?
Sorry, go ahead.
You wrote like there is some spelling issue.
Okay.
Call back up. Call back.
All right.
Go back.
My brain autocorrect doesn't work so well. There's now the concept of a node.js callback, which helps with the problem, which helps with this problem. Can you validate? So basically, with if they change their code to leverage that, they would then it would help with the original issue.
Yeah, if that's if that's working.
Okay.
If not, I think we should implement new APIs to our Node.js callback to handle this issue because that's what the Node.js callback
Okay.
intention to fix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. I'll comment there. It's the one we talked about. Okay, well, it's kind of stalled, but we have to spend more time to figure out.
Oh, right. There's still I think I need to follow up with the list to see if there's anything to be done. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, no problem. That's good. We always end up with a bunch. Um,
Do we understand what's the issue here with perf?
right. So it was one of the ones that maybe was covered by some of the things in that earlier issue. So yeah, I know need to look at that some more. This one.
Yeah, this one has no reproduction, so
Okay.
I think we should wait for the author to come back, or we can close this and ask the author to feel free to reopen if there is any updates on the issue, updates on the pull request.
Right.
Because we have been fixing and working on this part to refactor it to be more robust.
Right. Okay, so I guess it's saying like we should wait on this one, right?
And it's asking for a reproduction, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, because this is the pull request that fixes that issue, but since we've
Yeah.
changed a lot of our work on references, we're asking just the original poster of the PR, hey, is this still an issue? Because we've made a lot of changes, and they have not responded.
Right, yeah, okay, right.
Mhm.
So yeah, we could, it hasn't been all that long, so maybe like another ping. Like maybe one more ping like that that says, hey. And then I'd leave it open for a little while. If we get no response at all, then I think the next time would be like a close.
Yep.
This one I know, I think there was some.
Yeah, we kind of plan to implement quite several APIs. One of them actually already almost done.
Yeah.
We have one case for creating this property ID, but it's only done for one type of string. We need to add additional APIs for other type of strings.
So yeah, I'll just mark that as never stale because it sounds like we got other things to keep on going, so it's good.
I think this one is done in the example report, right?
Right.
Maybe we can ask the author to see if there is any follow-up operations.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Electron using multiple environments in a single thread is what one of the most recent comments said.
Yeah.
Those two links there.
Okay, well, it looks like it's
Seems to
still
be
active.
still work on, yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, that was good. We did a
Okay, yeah.
fair amount of triage there.
Mhm. All right.
Okay, anything else we want to chat about before we close out for this week?
I've got nothing.
Okay, well, if not, thanks to everybody for your time and the good discussion like always. We'll see
Mhm.
everybody in GitHub in next week.
See
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.